Wow, I can't believe what I saw today in the business world at CNBC's with Maria Bartiromo at Closing Bell. She was talking about the shocking but not surprising of Steve Jobs' He's resigning from one of the great companies of Apple as CEO. Um, for those who don't know who Steve Jobs is basically the visionary and the man who basically saved Apple from going to the toilet. How did he save it? He not only came up with some of the most extraordinary technology of our time, but his salesmanship as a leader, when you look at the stockholders meetings that he presents the new products, is not only genius, but he is a brilliant mind when it comes to selling a product. Today, he just turned in his resignation as CEO of Apple, and basically he's resigning. But you know something? I'm not surprised that he's resigning. He's resigning his duties as CEO of the company, and he turned it over to Tim Cook, who was previously Apple's chief operating officer at the company, and now he's named CEO, and he was elected chair. He was elected uh, as basically the new leader of the company. Now, a lot of people are talking about Steve Jobs now because this was a big surprise that he turned as CEO. He turned the job down. But you know something? I'm not surprised that he turned it down because there were rumors that his sickness with cancer at basically, didn't go into remission. It came back, and because he lost a lot of weight, there were times when he wasn't at the stockholders meetings and basically wasn't presenting the products the way he wanted to. But you know something? Steve finally said, you know what? I'm going to resign, and I'm basically going to turn the company over to a new CEO. Now, will Apple be affected by this is the question of the day. I do believe that their stock went down a couple of percentage points. Um, Obviously, people want to interview Steve and ask him why does something resigning of this great company, you coming out with new products. There was talk that there was going to be an iPod 2, iPad 3. I mean, upgrade their technology. Because to tell you the truth, I Steve is a fascinating dude because I remember that beef he had with Bill Gates when they did this movie Pirates of Silicon Valley, where basically the two were trying to who was going to come up with the first computer first. Even though Bill was working on programs for Microsoft. Steve Jobs came up with a great computer, but it was funny how the two of them were fighting over competition to see whose products were greater. And you know something? Steve is an arrogant dude, but hey, arrogance is what gets you to the top. And believe me, I respect his stilo. He took that company to heights that no one can ever believe. I mean, think about it. This man created the iPad. He changed telephones and computer laptops forever. And not only did he change technology forever, he changed the way we look at animation. I mean, this dude is co-owner of Disney Pixar Studios. I mean, those studio films are the ones that are responsible for The Incredibles. I mean, they were responsible for well, I don't think they were responsible for Finding Nemo, but I could be wrong on that. But I'm talking about they were responsible for Cars 2. I mean, um, extraordinary films that basically caught the eye of millions and won Academy Award for millions. But the fact is that what's fascinating about this story is that Steve Jobs basically made that company into what is now. I mean, they are worth so many billions. I mean, I feel sorry for anybody who brought into the stock of Apple because they lost percentage points. I mean, in the beginning, it started off as 4%. We'll probably have to find out the market value tomorrow when the opening bell at 9:30 to find out where the stock stands because of this breaking news. And this news came out rather late, so of course they're probably going to talk about it in Bloomberg tomorrow. I'm sure that a lot of people in the business world are wondering, why does Sutton drop? I mean, let's be real. I mean, you know something, when you're sick, I don't care how many billions you're worth, you can't fight your health. I mean, one thing about your health is that he's doing so much. And you know something, Steve Jobs doesn't really have to work. I mean, that man is probably worth almost $1 trillion. My guess, I mean, in realistic number, he might be worth more than Warren Buffett. I mean, last time Warren Buffett was worth what, 32 million? Steve got to be worth at least 50, maybe even 60. And I could be wrong on the numbers, but he's not. Believe me, he doesn't have to work. But I'll tell you the truth, you know, Steve did the smart move. It was a wise decision because you know what? No one wants to say because of his health, but we all know his health was involved in this. And you know, now the big question is, can Tim Cooks do exactly what Steve Jobs did for what, almost 20 years, even 30? You know, he brought this company to our public eye back in the early 80s and basically started off with working with computers and running against Bill Gates' Microsoft, and there was so much competition along the way. But this visionary basically said, you know what, not only can we change computers, but he changed telephones and he changed laptops. I mean, I know so many people love. I know this friend of mine right now who owns an iPad and loves it. You know, so you know something. I know time is short because you know YouTube doesn't want you talking forever. But the point is that I'm not surprised by this recommendation for him to retire. But you know something, it's about time. And you know what, Steve, you're an arrogant ass, and you know what, you talk a lot of shit. But I respect that. You have to be that way to take that company to the top, and you did. So, you know something, it's gonna be sad that you're out of the game right now. But dude, you're worth like almost $50 billion. So, you know something, get better, work on your health, see if the cancer can go back into remission. You know, get yourself together first, because you're doing too much. And you know something, you don't have to worry about the money. And people are saying, is the company going to go to a toilet? You know something, the company's going to suffer a bit. And you know something, like any big major change, you know, that's like if Warren Buffett died, and you know something, Berkshire Hathaway would have to basically find another CEO. So you know something, you know, not surprised at all that this happened to him. But you know something, Steve, you're a great visionary, and I hope that you know your health gets better. And you know something, you know, you had a unique insight into this company. Your creativity and inspiration was something that this company really needed, and you saved this company. So now that the company's worth billions, you know, now you could just sit back and just, you know, spend your money and just cool out. That's what I would do. I mean, you did your job as a CEO. Now let someone else take over. You know, it's not like you're not out of the company. He probably owns like what, 95% of the company in major stock shares. So trust me, Steve is going to be fine in the money aspect. But you know something, you know, not surprised by this news at all. So you know something, Steve, I respect you. You know, I hope Tim, you got a complicated job, but you know something, I hope people in the stockholders meetings give this guy a chance. You know, I know the board elected him, but you know something, you gotta work on that stock, because right now it's coming down a bit. But you know, give Tim a chance. Let's see what he can do with this company, and what innovation can he do as terms of product. So, interesting news today. Steve, take care of yourself. You know, we respect you. Your vision is brilliant. Take care of yourself, everybody. Have a great weekend.